Part of human nature is self-protection. Part of human nature is self-survival, self-development so that we can defend ourselves and explore the possibilities in ourselves, self-interest. Now, here's the big question. Is that okay, self-interest? And here's my best answer. If it's enlightened. If it's enlightened. Otherwise, it turns to selfishness. And here's the unique thing about selfishness. It is not in your best self-interest. We must learn that early. When a little child, grabs something away from another child and is selfish, doesn't want to share it. No, that is not in your best interest. And at first, it doesn't seem like it. At first, it seems like, no, what's in my best interest is what's mine is mine and what's yours is mine. And right? This whole sort of selfish idea, but this is part of becoming a civilized society, is learning that truly, in the long run, your best interest is served by not being selfish. But here's what we cannot do: deny our own self-interest. But if our self-interest becomes educated, it can be uniquely served so that everyone benefits and no one loses. How could it be possible to work in your own self-interest and still no one else lose? It's very interesting. Let me give you the first idea. The question was asked once, way back. What does it take to be great? What is the key to greatness? And that's a good question for everybody to make a note of. What is the key to greatness? The full development of our potential. Because that's really two parts to life. Is the full development of our potential and the wise use of all of our resources. You can't describe life, human life, any better than that. The full development of all of our potential and the wise use of all of our resources. That's worth a few books. Just those two sentences is worth several books. Full development of all of our potential and the wise use of all of our resources. But in the development of our potential, the question was asked, how can we be great? Or should we even seek for greatness? Now, the answer was given how to be great. So it must have been okay. And let me break it down for you. The key to greatness, how to act in your own self-interest, but still not diminish the interest of anyone else. And it's a very simple answer. Now, greatness could be defined in many ways. Great wealth, great power, great influence, great self-esteem, great self-respect. There's many kinds of greatness. But how could we achieve all of that greatness in some measure or ongoing measure? How could we achieve that? Here was the simple answer. It said this: find a way to serve the many. Find a way to serve the many. It is the greatest key to self-interest. Now, at first, it doesn't seem like it, but that's what education is all about, is to take what at first seems to be the best and then find out later, no, that's right, that's not the best. In teaching financial independence to kids, guess what we teach? Someone say, well, what's best now is to spend your money. Say, no, that's what seems to be best. That's what seems to be best. But if you give it a little thought now and attend a couple of classes, guess what you'll learn? That isn't the best. What I first thought was the best turned out, when I was more educated, that wasn't the best. So here's what we teach kids. The best is discipline of your resources. So here's what we teach kids. Do what you have to as quick as you can so you can do what you want to as long as you can. Do what you have to. Save your money. Invest your money. Do what you have to. Conserve your resources. Exercise the discipline now, because then that later leads to many years of self-satisfaction. So that's what education is all about, to turn around what seems to be our best interest and say, no, now I understand that isn't what's best. You got a toothache. You got a cavity in your tooth. What seems to be best is just to neglect and say, oh, well. But here's what's the problem with the cavity. It doesn't get better. So you got to go take care of it. And the dentist says what? You can take care of it now, it only costs this much. Later, it costs this much. So you can pay me now or pay me later. You say, hey, in my own best interest, what? Better to pay up front. Discipline is better up front. Now, so that we can enjoy those later years, to have plenty. So here's what it says. If you wish to be great in all kinds of greatness, have trophies to put on the mantle above the fireplace. If you wish all that kind of greatness, recognition and respect and all of it, here's the key. Find a way to serve. So we might shorten it to read like this. Service to many leads to greatness. Now, at first, that doesn't seem to create personal greatness, serving others. But now, when we become educated, we finally find out, yes, that's true. Service to many leads to greatness. Key phrase. If you wish to be ruler over many, now wishing to be great would seem as a statement of your own self-interest, which is true. But we're talking now about enlightened self-interest. Find a way to serve. Now we come to the next one. If you wish to be ruler over many, nothing wrong with that, to be ruler over many. Here's what it says. Be faithful when the amounts are small. To rule over many, be faithful when you have just a few. Someone says, well, if I had a big organization, I'd really take good care of it. But I've only got 3 or 4. I don't know where they are. See, that's not the key. The key is to really know where the 3 or 4 are. Take exceptionally good care of the 3 or 4. Because if you become faithful, if you become disciplined in giving your best attention and the best you've got to the few, now you begin to qualify now to have the many to preside over. The many will come if you pass the test of the few. Someone says, if I had a fortune, I'd really take good care of it, but I've only got a paycheck. I don't know where it goes. See, that's interesting if we ask you, what about your money? You say, I don't know where it all goes. Well, should we let you run the company? You don't know where it all goes? You says, yeah, my money just gets away from me. Oh, we should let you run the world, right? No. Because if you can't be master over a few pennies, should we give you a fortune? The answer is no way. Let's see what this person does with a paycheck. Then life and opportunity will decide later whether they deserve to double, triple, quadruple their income multiplied by 10. Why multiply it by 10 if you don't do a good job with what it is? So the key to greatness in your own self-interest is find a way to serve, and number 2, be faithful when the amounts are small. Now here's what's exciting. Learning to give is in your own best interest. It doesn't seem like giving something is in your own best interest. But here's what it says. If you wish to receive, and if you wish to receive, we would call that wishing for your own self-interest, wishing to receive. But here's how you receive in your own best interest, and that is to give. If you give, you will receive. And you cannot understand that unless you're educated. From the very earliest moments of being a child, you can't understand that unless you're educated. In fact, here's what it says. It's better to give than to receive. Now, see, at first, that doesn't seem right. At first, but here's what you can get at first. Faked out until you become educated. At first, it seems like it's better to receive than it is to give. And you say, no, you must be educated to understand. It's better to give than it is to receive. Now, here's why. Giving starts the receiving process. Wouldn't that be acting in your own self-interest, is to do something that started the receiving process? And the answer is yes, now I understand. Now I can act in my own self-interest in an enlightened way instead of a destructive way. Next, in your own self-interest, life responds to deserve, not to need. These are some of the most important notes of the 2 days. If you understand this, the rest is probably simple. Life responds to deserve, not to need. Life was not designed to give us what we need. Life was designed to give us what we deserve. Now, not in a moral sense now. This is just in a basic sense. There are certain moral challenges as well, spiritual and moral. But here's what the great law says. It does not say, if you need, you will reap. That's not what it says. Someone says, well, I really need to reap. Then you must learn the basic law. And without education, see, you'll be left behind. Here's what it says. In order to reap, you must plant. Guess who deserves to reap? Those who plant. So, could I deserve something unique and valuable? Yes, if you understand the law, if you understand how it works in your own self-interest. We must plant, we must give to the soil, we must turn it loose, we must let it do its work, we must have patience, take care of it. Now we deserve the reaping. If you need, you must plant. Next, if you need to find, in your own self-interest, if you need to find, here's what it says, you must search to find. Finding is reserved for those that search. They're the ones that deserve it. Somebody who says, well, this person really needs to find a good idea, then they must go searching. You must go to the library. You must go to the seminars. You must go to the sermon. You must go to and listen to the lyrics of the song. You must go to where education is being taught. You must go to where good ideas are being shared. Go to, go to. Rarely does a good idea interrupt you. Rarely. Good ideas are like mining for gold. You've got to develop the mental machinery to go look, go sifting, go searching, go looking. And if you search, what? You will find. The promise is there for everyone in their own self-interest. You'll find all you need to find. If you search for it, you'll find everything you need for your health, everything you need for a flourishing lifestyle, everything you need for a good marriage, everything you need to strengthen your friendship, everything you need for economics, you will find if you'll do like you did today. Spend a couple of days searching, taking a look, seeing if someone has some good ideas to share. All things are conditional. God says, I'm an amateur on God, but God says, if you'll move toward me, what? I will move toward you. It's always conditional. Which could also be translated, God says, you don't move, I don't move. You say, well, that's arbitrary. Well, when you're God, you can set it up that way. Remember, your planet, you can rearrange all this, change it all. But on this one, here's what's interesting. What you move toward tends to move toward you. If you move toward education, education starts to seek you out. This is one of the unique positive mysteries. Whatever you move toward moves toward you. If you move toward progress, progress seems to want to now embrace you, move toward you. All life seems to wish to reward its benefactor. If you become the benefactor, you'll receive these incredible rewards. If you're the benefactor to the garden, the flowers seem to bloom and say, look at me, look how bright and beautiful I am because you took care of me. I wish to reward you by being beautiful, lovely, spectacular. Your own children, if you become their benefactor, they want to reward you with their progress. I taught my daughters how to swim, right? And my daughters would say, and to dive. And my daughters would say, Daddy, watch. Look, watch. Look what you've created here. I mean, you've spent the time with me and, when it didn't go well, now look at me. This is the payoff. Watch me dive. I was their benefactor. Now, all life wishes to respond to the benefactor. Those who give their time, give their effort, give their patience, give their ideas, the benefit of their experience. Now, whatever has benefited from that wishes to respond. The crop wishes to grow. The child wishes to show you how much progress they've made. That is so exciting. Okay. Here's the last part on this. In your own self-interest, it's better to pay. Right? It's better to pay than to get it for free. Someone says, I wish I could get it for free. Not really. Because for free doesn't make anything of you. Here's a good phrase to remember. I wish to pay fair price for everything, for what it makes of me to pay. For the development I must achieve, to be able to pay, that's more valuable than to pay and to receive. Promise is on the other side of price. Should we give you the promise without the price? And the answer is no. That would violate the whole deal. Helping kids to change their vocabulary. A child says, I need $10. Said, that doesn't unlock the vault here. What unlocks the vault? How could I earn $10? Now, see, there's plenty of money here. You just got to use the right language. And the vault comes open. There's the money. There's the door. If you use the right language, part of it is language. We're going to learn tomorrow about financial independence. Part of it's language. Here's what I teach kids, not to have a savings account. It's important not to have a savings account. Here's what's important, to have an investment account. You want an account that pays. I said, oh, I understand. An investment account, not a savings account. An account that pays you interest. So, the magic language around the house for the kids. How can I earn $5? Not I need $5, not give me $5. How could I earn $5? How could I earn $10? Now here's what's important. Even more important than the $10 that achieves the objective is the development, the personal development that comes from being able to pay. Being able to pay is more valuable than receiving. Getting something is never enough. Paying for it, earning it, is the real value. If you found a Congressional Medal of Honor, would you wear it? No. Wouldn't you be the ridicule of the country? Wearing a Congressional Medal of Honor that you did not earn? So it's not the medal that's important. It's earning it that's important. Yes, the medal is a sign of respect. Yes, it's a sign of congratulations. Yes, it's a sign of honor. Yes, it's a sign of recognition. But what's important is not the medal. What's important is to know that you have deserved it.